following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah!
Go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby!
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break!
With Ambar Garcia, Brian Broaddus, Nick Harris, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Wednesday, September 4th, 2024, season 20, episode number 22. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break. We are live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We're presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at lg.com/OLED Evo. Welcome to the show. How's everybody doing today?
Excellent.
Are you tired?
It's one of those.
Is that what that is?
It's
been raining since it was since early morning. What do you mean?
What does that have to do with
That
anything?
means you should be home, wrapped up in a blanket, watching TV.
Maybe you. I'm excited. It's week 1 of the NFL season.
Well,
I'd rather
sure.
be nowhere but right here talking Cowboys football heading into week 1. Actually, the first game of the NFL starts tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's crazy.
We get another one Friday. That's going to be goofy, but it's going to be fun.
Well, I don't know. I'm actually heading out to Ann Arbor. So Friday night I'll be doing Texas type things. But yeah, there will
That's
be another game.
the commitment for week 1.
It
you
is.
know,
It is.
That's
It
his
is.
commitment.
It is. It absolutely is. And when I first saw the schedule come out, and I was like, wait, week 1 Cleveland, Ann Arbor and Cleveland aren't that far apart.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm there. So
Yeah.
I'm going up to watch my Longhorns on Saturday. I will drive 2.5 hours. Me and Clarence Hill, we're going to get in the car and drive. Why you laugh?
You might end it all then.
Why are you laughing? Are you saying
You might
Clarence
just-
isn't responsible? Is
With,
that what you're trying to say?
Clarence, you just might take it into a ditch.
Hey, I'm not gonna let you talk about my bro like that. We're gonna drive on down there safely, and then Sunday we'll be able to watch.
Those
the
are
Cowboys.
2 hours you're never going to get back in your life.
That'll be a fun weekend. That'll be
Oh, we're gonna have
Yeah.
a blast. A lot of our frat brothers are going down. It's gonna be
Very nice.
good.
It's an
weekend.
impressive place to go watch a college football game.
Yeah, and well, I've never been. That's the thing.
That
Big
atmosphere,
house.
that
you know?
atmosphere is wild.
Yeah, when do you get a chance to go to the Big House and watch your
Oh,
team
yeah.
play if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
not in the Big Ten?
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I'm very excited about it. All right, let's talk some Cowboys football, though. I got a message from Brian this morning.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he called me. I was about to head into a meeting, and he calls me, and he leaves a message, and he's like, hey, I got a question that I want to open the show with. You okay with that? And my heart just sank like, oh, God, I don't know what Brian's going to ask us. But I was like, sure, let's go for it.
You
Let's
see
see where
his
it goes.
face right now,
We're going to
too.
live dangerously. So, Brian, let's
Russian
delve
roulette.
into the mind of Brian Broaddus. And what question do you have for us?
Thank you very much, Derek. I appreciate you allowing me to do this. Nick Harris.
Okay.
Of Guyton, Beebe, Carson, Nealon, power rank the order that you need the most importance to the least importance and how they're going to play or how you're going to need them to play going forward in this game.
Week 1 specifically.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna take Guyton 1. I think he needs to have a strong showing against Myles Garrett. There's got to be some protection off the edge, not only for pass protection, but to be able to seal off the edge as well in the running game. They're going to need to find some confidence there. 2, I'm going to go Kalen Carson. They do have these receiving threats. If Deshaun Watson is playing healthy, obviously that's a big question mark, then they are going to go after Kalen Carson early on in this game, and they're going to try and attack that rookie. If he can show early on, hey, I'm no slouch, then that would be huge towards the defense's success. 3 BB, 4 Nealand. That's how I would rank them.
Why would you would have BB third?
Yeah, I would go BB over Nealand running game. Once again, there's a lot of experience in that interior defensive line for the Browns. I mentioned it yesterday, guys with 8, 9, 10 years of experience. Shelby Harris in there, Tomlinson. There's some guys that he's going to have to be able to stack up against and push forward. We didn't see that a whole lot last year from Tyler Biadasz. So if he can get after it in the run game, then I think they find some success there in the run game. But that's a big if. Those 3. Very little separation there, and then I'd probably have Nealand down here. He still needs to perform, don't get me wrong, but I think these 3 guys, it's very important that those 3 guys produce.
Boss man?
Actually, my order was exactly the same. I started with Guyton mainly because I got a quarterback back there I need to protect, and you got, in my opinion, the best, most fearsome pass rusher in the NFL. opposite him. And so that becomes that's the first thing they got to do is they got to shore that up. Then I put Carson mainly because I think that'll be if I'm the opposing offense, I'm going to be like the first person I want to test and see how good they are is Carson. I know they've probably heard all the things we've said about this guy and how good he's been in camp, but they want to see, and I would guess they're going to try to look for opportunities to get their veteran, Amari Cooper, lined up against him in situations where you really get to test him. And that's going to test him because we know Amari Cooper is a guy that runs crisp routes, knows how to get to the spot he needs to get to. Going up against a rookie, that's going to be a lesson. And so that's going to be the second one. And then it's BB for a reason that you talked about, Brian, yesterday. If this running game is going to be successful, its success is really going to come from the fact that they will have power up the middle.
Right.
And I think BB is important. He's critical to that. So I want to see if he can continue what we've seen from him and be able to do that in real live games. And then Nealon, the main reason why Nealon is for is because he doesn't have to start. He's a rotational guy. These other guys, they're starting. And quite frankly, before we went on the air, we talked about this. I was talking to one of our PR guys, and they're trying to get the actual stat for me of when was the last time the Cowboys had this many rookies starting on week one. Right now, according to the unofficial depth chart, there are 4 rookies that could possibly start. 3 of these, Guyton, Carson, BB, and then Maris Leofau. Leofau, we'll see. He's a base defense guy, so we'll see if they start in nickel or in base. But however it goes, 3 to 4 rookies starting in week one of a season, that seems like a large number to me. And so I think Nealon is in that mix because he's going to play quite a bit as a rotational guy, but you don't need him as a starter. You got 2 very, very capable pass rushers ahead of him on the depth chart.
Hey, G.
I wish I could give you a different answer, but I'm on the same page as you guys. And the thing is, the only reason I'm putting Carson before BB, so I do think Guyton for sure. And the only reason Carson is number 2 is because I still have question marks with Trevon Diggs' return. And again, he's looked really good. He looks really, really good in practice, and he's moving around really well. But we know that one thing is practice and another thing is a real game. So I'm still kind of keeping my eye on that. We tend to see when players come back from an injury that sometimes it takes them a while, sometimes even a whole year for them to get back into how they used to be. So I think the backfield, defensive backs, is going to be an area where everybody's going to have to bring their A game this time. And I think Carson is the guy, obviously being a rookie coming into a game like that. It's going to be a big moment for him. But same thing, then BB and then Nealon, mainly because of the position that it is for Nealon. I mean, you have depth there. You have more guys that you can rely on. But BB, I mean, he's still, that's a key position for sure. But I would say, based on Trevon Diggs and what you're missing with Deron Bland, Carson is number 2.
It all starts with BB, guys.
All right, give us your order.
BB's number 1 to me.
One?
Yeah, BB's number 1.
It's funny because when you know Brian, and if you're not watching, Brian's listening to all of us giving us an answer. He's like smiling, like semi-smiling, like he's like, all right, I got you guys. I got this one.
No, to me though, it all starts with BB really up front. You know, and the fact that at Kansas State he didn't play any center. I mean, this is a total projection for him, but he's done a nice job. You think about the snaps, you think about the calls, you think about the protections, all that stuff with Guyton. All that's predicated on communication between Dak and BB, who they identify the Mike backer, and if they're going to slide this thing, chip this thing, whatever they're going to do. Carson's number 2 in this thing too, and you're absolutely right, Derek, because they're going to try and match you up is what they're going to do. I'm going to tell you this. Knowing Jim Schwartz the way I do in Cleveland and talking to some people who know Jim Schwartz, I asked this morning, this guy said, how does he attack? He says, watch Schwartz. He knows that Guyton's going to get help this game. He's going after Steele. He's going to see if Steele with Myles Garrett can win one-on-one. And he feels like if you watch Steele play, sometimes there's a little bit of a lack of power there. The one thing Steele is really good at, and he's got better at because his health has returned, is his ability to move, keep somebody wide. But if he has to play with a guy that has power, sometimes that guy will dip on him and take him to that quarterback, and it'll be a little bit of a problem. Schwartz knows that. Schwartz knows that Guyton's going to get all the help. They're worried about the rookie. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Guyton be okay. Now, there'll be some rushes over there where I believe that you'll see Myles Garrett because he's a right end player. You know, and when we get into them tomorrow, we'll talk about it more. But he is a right end player. But you see him also. I would also anticipate the two guards getting covered in this one, and then also Myles Garrett one-on-one with BB. That where I think that could be a pressure point for this team as well.
Real quick for those that may not understand, explain what you mean when you say the two guards being covered.
Yeah, what they could do is that when guys are in covered, you can help. You could slide. You can do things. If Martin's uncovered, he could slide and help. If he's covered,
and when you say cover, you mean guy lined up on him. Yes. Yeah.
If they cover everybody across the front and then eliminate, it's hard to chip on a guy when he's in the middle of the defense. Mm-hmm. So all of a sudden, that might be a pressure point for you because then it turns into one-on-one with BB versus Myles Garrett in this game. So I think that it's, like I say, BB and then go down from there. But Carson in this game is going to have to play big. He's really going to have to play big. But the thing about it, and we'll get into, I'll let you now segue into, Brian, tell me about the Browns offense here or something like that.
No, but that
You're
was
just
good.
taking all your responsibilities today.
No, actually, that's a great question
really
because
good stuff.
I really, literally before this show, I was talking to PR about those rookies, and
I think it's the dirty dozen. I think
it's
the
an
dirty
interesting
dozen
thing.
from the 70s. I think the Landry draft, it was the Randy White draft that they called the group the dirty dozen. And I want to say, if I just had to go off the top of my head, that was several of those guys. And I don't know if they all started, but it was a very good draft class for them.
And that's the thing. Like we talk a lot on this show. We talk a lot on our draft show about how well this team drafts, and they've drafted. We think they've drafted well, but to get to the point where you have that many guys in their first season starting game one. I mean, that's kind of where the Cowboys are in their salary cap as well. It's just an indicator of where they are.
I was going to say they barely did anything in free agency, so you're left
to
having to rely on these young guys.
What about our bad teams that we had in the early 2000s, Derek, where it was Derek Ross, Antonio Bryant? I want to say that we had a draft class there where a lot of those cats had to play. Yeah. And I'm trying to remember all of them, and sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. But I just remember that class we had where Derek Ross was the starter, Antonio Bryant was the starter. I'm sure there's. I'm at the break.
What was that? 2000, 2001?
2001. Yeah, I think that. But that was a class where it might have been two, but it was a class where that several of those guys had to start just because we could look at it at the break. If you want to get into some other stuff.
Yeah, we're actually.
But thank you for the question. I mean, thank you for the answers. Overall, good answers.
That was good stuff
for the most part. Not you really, Nick. Yours kind of is not a good answer.
All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to let Brian jump in, give us his assessment of the Cleveland Brown offense versus the Dallas defense. We'll be back. DallasCowboys.com radio.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
Don't put off getting your oil changed, Dallas. Take 5 Oil Change, a proud partner of the Cowboys, is faster than you think. There's no appointment needed and no waiting room. Yep, you heard that correctly. Take 5 is so fast, you don't even have to get out of your car. You can take advantage of Take 5's fast, friendly, and simple service at any of their locations across the Dallas area. And remember, at Take 5, you stay in your car because they're faster than you think. Take 5, the official oil change of the Dallas Cowboys.
If you shout, "How about them Cowboys?" you have that undeniable passion that's the heart of Cowboys Nation. And if you like to drink Dr. Pepper, you love the unique blend of its 23 flavors. Together, your one-of-a-kind fandom paired with the one-of-a-kind taste of a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper is the game day lineup that can't be beat. Better yet, gather your Cowboys and Dr. Pepper fan friends to watch the next game and crack open a delicious ice-cold Dr. Pepper for everyone. The wins will be even tastier. It's a pepper thing.
Life doesn't stop when the economy is uncertain. The market might not care you have a wedding to plan or a kid to put through school. And inflation doesn't know you've got a family to feed. But Bank of America does, and is here to help. With digital tools to help you save and local experts nearby, you can keep life moving forward the way you need it to. Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? Learn more at bankofamerica.com. Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
Back to the break.
LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game, but don't take our word for it, Derek. Digital Trends said the LG OLED G4 has the best picture quality they've ever seen. See it for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
Welcome
So
back.
smooth.
Second segment of the show.
Getting better.
Live from
Slowly.
SWBC Mortgage Studios at the
Glad
Star.
you're here for a lot of reasons.
This segment is brought to you by blockchain.com. All right, here's what we're doing. Brian's going to give us a breakdown.
Yeah.
You guys remember from last year, we do this every Wednesday. We will have Brian break down the opposing team's offense versus the Cowboys defense. And then on Thursdays, we'll have Brian break down the opposing team's defense versus the Cowboys offense. That's what we do every week here on
You got
The
me
Break.
nervous about this one, Brian.
Jump in if you got a question.
Well, I actually did want to start with a question
Please
real
do.
quick.
Please do.
I was looking at
It always works
some
better when you
information.
do.
I was looking at some information on the Browns offense, and obviously it starts with their quarterback, Deshaun
Right.
Watson. Last year, he was fourth lowest in completion percentage
True.
in the NFL, went over 150 passes. My question for you, was that more about Watson, or was it more about his receiving options?
Watson. Yeah, this guy is not an accurate thrower. He's got a really strong arm, though. I mean, I was watching the one of the games before he got injured, the Tennessee game where they played, and he can make the throw standing in the middle of the pocket and throw it all the way to the left or right sideline. I mean, on a deep shot on the outs. So he's got the arm strength. The problem with him is he's not always accurate, and a lot of it has to do with mechanics. His feet don't always get set. But they tend to try and play to his strengths of moving him. He's very anxious about getting out of the pocket and kind of moving. And sometimes he'll move when he doesn't have to move. And then that'll affect the way that he throws the football. And so you'll see receivers, the ball doesn't always go down the field with him. They try with the waggles and the boots. I know that's the phrase, and we always use where it's send the offensive line one way, let him come back the other way. Njoku, the tight end, is going to catch it in the flat. He's going to catch it underneath. They're trying to make as many simple throws. You mentioned the thing with Amari Cooper. We all understand who Amari Cooper is,
Yeah.
and you gave a very good description of how Amari Cooper plays. They play him on the outside. They put Amari Cooper in the slot. He's very measured with the way that he runs his routes. And then he's measured. He's one of the best, if you look at the statistics or you look at metrics, he's one of the best receivers along the sidelines. When there's little or no space, he's one of the top receivers. So when you think you have him covered and you've got him all the way pinned to the sidelines, you still got to cover him.
He's got great body control.
Great body control, great balance, and all those things. So we'll see what happens with Judy. They added him with a trade this year. This is kind of a make or break year for him as well.
Coming from Denver.
Coming from Denver. So, but the thing that to your question, it's more about Watson's accuracy or lack of that has caused them problems. They threw the ball when Joe Flacco was in there. The ball was going down the field. I mean, Joe Flacco's like under center, play action, downfield. Play action, downfield. Their offense was better. Now, they lost a key member of their offensive coaching staff. We talked about Bill Callahan. I gave him the nickname Running Game Moses because everywhere he's been, the offensive line plays great. They run the football and all that. They got a coach, Dickerson, from the Seahawks that had been with them before. Seahawks are a team that has some physicality with the way that they run the ball. We've all played the Seahawks. So we know how they play. So I'll be interested to see in how, in fact, that it works out for there. I think you're going to have to be ready for some screen package stuff in this. They ran a double reverse screen, which it was a pretty play. You get the reverse, and then the first guy with the ball now ends up being the guy that catches the ball with blockers in front. But you got tight end delays. You got running back delays, and you've got then also the double reverse. But these screen packages are something that they like to go with. They'll try and move you around, send you one way, and then come back the other to throw the football. So you have to be really, really ready for that. I think in the offensive line, they've got questions with their tackles, the health of their tackles right now. So both of them coming back from major knee injuries. We'll see if, in fact, though, that Dallas with some speed, some quickness there, that maybe these guys aren't up to snuff when it comes to their sets, getting away from the line. The Cowboys need to take advantage of any of that kind of injury stuff that they could deal with, especially very early, and guys really not having a lot of work in training camp. These tackles haven't had a lot of work. So playing out there's some questions about whether some of these guys are going to start. But I feel like, though, too, you can overpower their inside guys. Posick the center, Teller the right guard, and Batonio the left guard. I especially feel like that Teller is the guy that gives up the most ground. And if you could take him back into Watson, that affects Watson, because as soon as Watson feels it, he's going to bail. Talk about and maybe having to play a little bit of contain around Watson. We've seen that when you've played.
That's the PTSD from early on in his career in Houston.
Yeah.
He was just bailing as soon as he saw a threat because he had to.
Everything, This offensive line, for the most part, when he was playing, every time there was a pressure, and I watched all the pressures, I'm like, how's this guy handling it? And he doesn't handle it particularly well. But I kind of feel like, though, questions at their tackle spots with health. And I think you could bully their center, Posick, and I think you could bully Teller, the right guard. And that might be a little bit of an area that a sticking point for them to try and protect that way. Their tight end in Njoku, I said, is really a good tight end.
Yeah.
I have to be ready for him in the flat. That's where he makes a lot of his plays. So mixing coverages on him, I think, will be key. Do you walk Lewis over there maybe to cover him? Do you bring McQuamu in, maybe a big guy, cover him right there? I think you just kind of got to give him a bunch of different looks and make Watson have to read your defense. If Dak Prescott's having struggles reading this Mike Zimmer defense at practice, my man Watson's going to have some problems as well doing the same.
Let me take you back to Watson, and I want to.
I thought he's going to have a great career when he was with Bill O'Brien at Houston, though.
Right, but and that's kind of where I'm going. Yeah. I want to find out what are the differences, if there are any. You talk about his accuracy. Yeah. Talk us through the differences in how he plays before all the stuff happened in Houston, when he was playing at a level that we all thought he was going to be an all-pro kind of player for many years, to where he is now in Cleveland. Yeah,
it just seems like to me in Cleveland, he just hasn't got a grasp of what they're trying to do. And they're trying to find ways to take advantage of his athletic ability. I mentioned the accuracy. It's hard to call offensive plays when your quarterback is throwing the ball. We know what Amari Cooper is. Amari Cooper can catch the ball off his shoe tops. Mm-hmm. Amari Cooper can catch the ball over his head. It's amazing to watch these receivers have to work for the football, especially when they're open. They're running crossing routes and the ball is low, and it's almost like watching Trey Lance throw the ball. That sometimes he's just on target, and then other times it's like, well, that's behind the guy. And now the guy doesn't have the opportunity, or that was just a terrible throw, or he didn't really step up in the pocket and make a throw. At Houston, it seemed like he had a better handle on trying to get the ball to his guys. They had a better, and I'm not saying they had a better plan, but it looks like to me that this Browns offensive staff, and we'll see with Ken Dorsey. He's the new OC, but he's not going to call the plays. Kevin Stefanek's going to be the primary play caller. But we saw what Ken Dorsey was able to do with Josh Allen at Buffalo. And then, there was some accuracy problems coming out of college. And Nick, you might remember him watching Josh Allen play at Wyoming. There was some, now again, he's throwing to cattle ranchers and pharmacists and accountants,
miners.
Yeah, he's throwing to tough guys, but guys that probably aren't playing in the NFL.
Right.
But Ken Dorsey was able to kind of find something with Josh Allen there. And that's probably the hope that maybe that his ability to work with quarterbacks that aren't very accurate might pay dividends.
Yeah, the thing for me when I look at this Browns offense and I'm trying to identify the problems here, I see a hole obviously at running back, but I understand that this is a play caller, this is a system like we mentioned yesterday that gets running backs and gets ball carriers out in space, and they figure out how to get those 4.5 yards per carry. So for me, I see that as, yes, okay, that's going to be what it is. But I'm looking at this receiving core. I mean, you have Amari Cooper, who proved last year, especially on the back end as he started to pick up some rhythm with Joe Flacco, that he can be a danger. If you have a healthy Deshaun Watson throwing him the ball, I think there's problems there. But throw Amari Cooper out of this situation. You're bringing in a possession guy in Jerry Jeudy. You don't really know what he's going to bring to this offense from that possession perspective. And then you have two very young guys who could be guys that take off for a 60-yard touchdown. I'm looking at David Bell and I'm looking at Jamari Thrash. Both of these guys are guys that can take a ball out in space and make some guys look like fools. So this is a dangerous receiving core that I think should definitely be accounted for, because these are guys that can flip a game on their head right just like that. Jamari Thrash, rookie out of Louisville, I really liked him in the draft process. Then David Bell, he's heading into his third year out of Purdue, one of the most electric players in Purdue history. And he's had some moments early on in his NFL career, but these are two guys that, like, I want to know where they are on the field if they take the field.
If you had to take away one thing, and we don't know with Ford. Ford has had some capable. The running back there has had. I mean, having Chubb out of the lineup is a huge help for the Cowboys.
No doubt. But Ford was pretty good last for you.
With Ford, if you could say, I'm going to take away their running game, or I'm going to take away their pass, which one do you want them to do?
I want them to pass.
I do too.
I want them to throw the ball. Especially with Deshaun Watson. He has not played at all in a game environment since that shoulder injury last year. Yeah. If I'm the defensive coordinator, if I'm Mike Zimmer, I'm saying I want you to show me that you can throw the ball.
Yeah.
So where do you classify his ability to take off and run?
Yeah. That's going to be the issue.
That's the running game. That's the running game.
You're going to call that the running game?
That's when you talk about the contain and having to try and keep him. Remember when we always talked about playing the Seahawks, or heck, you play Hurts. Yeah. Or you play, say, Jackson.
Baltimore, as
Lamar
we're doing
Jackson's
week 3.
coming up. And all of a sudden you're thinking, how do you play? And remember when it was with Russell Wilson, his threat of attacking the line and running and doing all that? It was make him play backwards. Make him have to keep dropping back. Don't give him any avenue to be able to escape, because if he does escape, and we'll see how much of a threat he really wants to be running the ball, especially with the bad shoulder or shoulder history. But yeah, contain and then find a way to make him have to throw this ball from the pocket playing backwards. Yeah. I think will really, really help you.
Well, also, I think it is important for the defensive line to put that pressure right off the bat, because I do think with someone that's coming off an injury, and obviously you never want to hurt the player or wish anything bad on somebody.
Yeah, you get in trouble with that.
No, absolutely.
I did.
Well,
Remember that? Yeah.
I'm not saying
the mom called me a bad name, by the way. I interviewed her at the Super Bowl.
You never mess with somebody's baby.
I tell you what, Mrs. McCaffrey was not too kind.
It's going to be a problem every time.
I learned my lesson.
My point is, you do. If you get to him a few times right off the bat and sack him, you immediately just start putting that in his head.
Right.
And it's going to maybe prevent him from want to run or let him or allow him to do that throughout the game. So I think you have to set the tone right off the bat. And then also with the guys being so good at the defensive backs and everybody back there being so good at creating turnovers and catching them. I think that's a big opportunity too for the defense.
If it's not accurate,
to be able to get some of those turnovers in this game as well.
I know I mentioned those receivers, and those are obviously a part of the game, but this game specifically on both sides of the ball is going to be one of the trenches. There is no doubt about it. And if you're looking at it from this perspective, from the Cowboys defense versus the Browns offense, I think they're going to get after Deshaun Watson. I look at the advantages that the Cowboys defensive line has. I think they can get around these tackles. I think that they can seal off those edges and not allow Deshaun Watson to escape. And if he does, I feel confident in that linebacking core to step up and make a play on him.
Yeah, if you want to say something super positive about Dallas's defense this year, it's the linebackers.
Absolutely.
Those cats can
Which is so interesting after last year, right?
Well, you know what? It took not playing with any for a whole year. And all of a sudden, when we were doing the draft show and interviewing all the coaches and stuff and the scouts, they were talking about linebackers.
Big Lincoln line.
And Maris Leofau and Clark. I think Clark has gotten better because of the guys now around him.
For sure.
I really do.
Let me ask you this. Are you guys at all surprised that Leofau is right now unofficially on the depth chart as a starter ahead of Overshown?
It surprised me. It did surprise me when I saw that in the release yesterday. Or was that? Yeah, it was yesterday.
I mean, it's been like that most of camp. He's been out there with the starters a lot.
Yeah.
So, but is it just surprising that when you look at their talent?
I think from this is just my perspective.
Yeah.
Brian might have a different one here. I
do.
When you look at the three different linebackers and the three different skill sets that they can bring to the field, you would rather rotate Overshown in than rotate Leofau in. That's from Leofau's perspective. He's that guy that can kind of be your rover. I think a little bit better rather than Overshown. I know Overshown has this safety background. I like him playing up front more. I think he's better at playing in front of the ball, whereas Leofau can maybe play behind a little bit and he can step back in coverage a little bit more. I think he works with those other two guys a little bit better as a complement. And Overshown, getting him on the field as a rotation guy for any of those three guys, he can play either of those three roles, in my eyes at least.
No, that's a good analysis, but I'm trying to help you here a little bit.
Okay, I got you.
The thing about you're fine. The thing that I think it's availability. How much practice did we really see from Overshown?
That's fair.
And everything that, remember when we were sitting there interviewing, and you asked some really good questions of McCurley, linebacker coach, and all the people that were involved, and the scouts were all like, "Oh no, this linebacker, Leofau, he can do this, he can do this, he can do this." I was talking with Daniel Jeremiah, who's the broadcaster for the color analyst for the Los Angeles Chargers, and I was thinking, hey, what did you think about Leofau coming out? And he was like, run, tackle, smart. I mean, he was going on and on and on about the player, and I'm like, man, yeah, you were right about that kid. And I think that's where Zimmer and everybody here fell in love with him. But pre-draft, they're watching his tape. He's smart. He's tough. He makes plays. You can put him behind the line. He can run. He can blitz. There's a lot of things. But how much availability did we really have with Overshown?
Yeah.
I kind of felt like that every day I was kind of looking for number 13 to go out bouncing out there. Oh, he's got this wrong. Oh, now he's dealing with the hip pointer. Oh, he was missing days. And I was going, well, he's not practicing. So it made it pretty simple for me that one was practicing and the other wasn't. And that's why I think we're in the situation, at least right now, that one is ahead of the other.
Well, it's a fortunate thing for the Cowboys. They don't have to rush him back, and they can kind of let him get acclimated to the game, I guess, coming off the injury.
I heard he's good to go.
Yeah.
I heard that Overshown is good to go. So, yeah, if that's any concern to anybody.
All right, we're going to take our final break. We'll come back. Got a few more questions on this. If we have a little time, we may get back into our better, worse, same. We had some positions from yesterday we still need to hit on the defensive side of the ball. We're back, DallasCowboys.com radio.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
They say champions are remembered, but legends are never forgotten. United Ag & Turf offers a winning lineup of John Deere equipment built to tackle any challenge on and off the field. Legendary John Deere tractors, combines, residential mowers, commercial mowers, compact construction equipment, Gator utility vehicles, and a full line of golf and sports turf equipment. United Ag & Turf, the official Ag & Turf equipment supplier of the Dallas Cowboys. Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com to find a location near you.
If you can't be at the stadium, there's no better way to watch your Cowboys than on an LG OLED Evo TV. That's because everything you see is more lifelike. Every play, every hit. I mean, you might as well be on the sidelines. That's how clear it is. It's all thanks to LG's legendary technology. Perfect black, over 8.3 million self-lit pixels. No one comes close. LG OLED Evo is the best TV in the game for a reason. See for yourself at lg.com/OLED Evo.
From the field to the festivities, Lucchese embodies the essence of luxury and tradition. Handcrafted with meticulous precision, each pair offers unmatched comfort and style. Stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys Collection by Lucchese. Shop the collection today at the Lucchese store at the Star in Frisco or online at lucchese.com. Lucchese, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Todd thought it would be secure to jog in the cheetah savanna. Todd believed the big cat repellent he bought online was reliable. And now, Todd is trying to be faster than this cheetah that can run 80 miles per hour. But the good news is, Todd has AT&T 5G that is fast, reliable, and secure. And he learned the best thing to do is stop running and toss her the backpack with the beef stew. AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
5G requires compatible plan and device. 5G may not be available in your area. See att.com/5G for you for details.
to the break.
AT&T, connecting changes everything.
Welcome back. Final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We're presented by LG. LG is the world's #1 OLED TV brand for 11 years and counting. See why at LG.com/OLED Evo. All right, here we go. Let's. I had a couple more questions on this. Talk to me specifically about how you think Trayvon Diggs and Kalen Carson match up against a guy like Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to attack these two guys early and often in this game. I think you might expect the running game to get going early, but if I'm the Cleveland Browns offense coordinator, if I'm the play caller, I'm trying to go after those two guys.
And how do they match up? Tell me how they match up.
Yeah. I think from a speed and movement perspective, Amari Cooper's going to have some advantages against these guys. And I think personally, I would rather have Trayvon Diggs on Jerry Jeudy, and I would put Kalen Carson on Amari Cooper. And I know that sounds a little crazy.
Are you saying travel them, or you're just hoping that
I would travel them? I would travel them. Okay. I want Diggs to be up against the possession guy. I don't want him to have to change his direction too much during the game. I don't trust in Judy's route running ability to be able to say that he's going to get around a Trayvon Diggs and the physicality that he brings. You look at Kalen Carson, he's got kind of that dog in him. He's going to get you a penalty or two during the game, but he's also going to limit Amari Cooper. And I think he can travel with him a little bit better in that sense. But you're also going to see Amari Cooper move inside quite a bit. It's going to be a task for Jordan Lewis as well. Jordan Lewis, I think he is ready. He is healthy. He's going to be probably the guy that they lean on a little bit in this game just because Trayvon is coming off of that ACL. Kalen is the rookie that's stepping into this situation. So I would expect them to lean on Jordan Lewis a little bit more. But if I'm looking at just the Amari Cooper problem, I would rather have Kalen Carson on that guy if he's on the outside.
Is Zimmer a guy that tends to like to have his corners travel?
Not in my experience, Brian. Not in my experience watching really, Zimmer's defenses. He's a guy that would rather have his guys just stay put in right field or stay put in left field and get used to seeing things come from those perspectives. But I don't know. I think this is a unique situation because you have a guy coming off of a torn ACL. You have a rookie stepping in, making his very first start. I would rather the task this week be, okay, study this guy, know this guy like the back of your hand, and go attack this guy. That's just my perspective, but we'll see how Zimmer kind of approaches it as the week gets closer.
Yeah, if I know I don't play fantasy football, and I try not to give fantasy football advice, but I do believe a metric that fantasy football people look at or how the matchups are going to be. And this comes from Pro Football Focus on their fantasy matchups. And one of the actually on the Dallas end of things, they're saying that if you start CeeDee Lamb of wide receivers versus corners, all corners at Cleveland, he would be he's just below an excellent fantasy player against their corners. On the flip side of that, if you look at Jeudy and Cooper, they're good options against all Dallas defensive backs. Now, I don't know. I mean, we'll see how that plays out. But I just, sometimes you see these, and a lot of times these fantasy people are right. They look at the matchups and they say, hey, this guy here can score a lot of points against or, create opportunities against. The fact that Dallas has almost an excellent option against them, I think bodes well for Dallas with Lamb, even though he hasn't, practiced and stuff. I just kind of I worry about with Dallas matching up with those two guys, And Jeudy is a little bit of a wild card because he could go off or he could be just a big fat zero.
I think for Jeudy to go off, it would require Deshaun Watson pushing the ball down the field. And I don't think that's going to be their game plan because he's coming off of that shoulder injury. I think everything's going to be within that 10 to 20 yard range.
Right. That's the way he throws the ball.
Exactly. And then B, I don't feel like he's going to have the opportunities. I just don't feel like it's going to happen.
And that's also the key. I was going to mention that, Brian. I think with these fantasy sites, I think a lot of it also has to do with opportunities and other things around them. So, for example, with Cleveland, they are a running team with a quarterback coming off a shoulder injury.
Right.
So the opportunities that those receivers may have, even if they win in their matchups, they may not get as many opportunities. As we know with Dallas, Dallas's offense is going to run through CeeDee Lamb. If CeeDee Lamb has a great day, it's a good chance Dallas is going to win. I think that's kind of as much a part of it as maybe even anything else.
Well, the matchups, like I said, they look at these matchups, and I was just curious because, like I said, I don't play fantasy football myself, and I never have. But if you're telling me, and a lot of these guys and gals are very smart at it, they'll tell you like opportunities here. They might be looking at it as, hey, Cleveland's got no running game without Chubb. They might have to throw the football. So, but you're also thinking like, oh, good matchups against all of Dallas's cornerbacks. So I hope in this case, because they got Judy and Cooper right there as good, with the others, but then they got CeeDee Lamb as almost an excellent matchup against those Browns corners, and they've got good corners.
It would be funny if we talked about these last 2 weeks, CD potentially not being ready, and he just goes out and has like 125 yards. You
know what? I think that it's interesting because Cleveland's one of the best red zone, one of the best third down teams in the league last year, but one of the worst red zone teams in the league last year. Hard to believe that you could be really good at one area where getting off the field, and then you can't keep people out of the red zone area. So it's kind of a lot of it has to do with that front, and they've got good corners. They just we've seen Dallas have success. I think Dallas is equipped to throw the football in this thing. They find a way to protect that front. They could throw the ball.
We've gotten 41 minutes into a show where we're talking about the Dallas defense and have not one time talked about Micah Parsons. What is Micah Parsons going to do this week?
I think that with Micah, I think it's very similar to what you're going to see with Myles Garrett. I think that Mike Zimmer is not going to put hand down and let him just rush like that. I think he's going to move him around. I think he's going to hunt some matchups. We talked about the inside three for the Browns. There's questions on the health and the availability of the tackles. I think Mike's just going to find it. Whoever looks like that they're struggling the most in that game, he's going to put people in position, and especially Micah. We saw it in practice. He's standing in the A gap. They've got Kendricks in front of him. Micah's backed up. All of a sudden, Kendricks blitzes the A. Micah ends up in the C, standing in the A, untouched. They've got everybody accounted for, and nobody for Micah. I could see creativity like that happening for Mike Zimmer.
Matchups look good, as you talked about with the tackles. Even if he's lined up on the outside, it looks like he's got some opportunity.
He does.
Well, another thing, he's talked about it during this time and mentioned how he's so excited and pleased with the way that Mike Zimmer, the way he's been positioning him, and he thinks he can make more plays in this way, and how Mike Zimmer is just kind of handling him and his abilities. So I'm excited to see what that actually looks like, because it sounds like Mike Zimmer, I'm just excited overall just with what he's doing with the defense, because I don't know exactly what to expect. And I'm excited about that because it's intriguing. It's something different than what we're used to. I think he brings some more of that creativity aspect of it, where he's just kind of something that I heard a lot is just going back to that, just allowing players to excel, be positioned better in a way that they can actually excel with their own personal talent.
Be sound. After what happened in that Green Bay thing, you do not want to see unsound football on defense ever again. That will get you beat badly. And I think Mike will bring that buttoned-up mentality to his group, and that's how I think they'll play for him.
We have news from Mike McCarthy in his press conference just now. The theme for the Dallas Cowboys in 2024
okay, go ahead.
has been revealed. I would love to get Ambar's
Mardi
perspective
Gras
on this.
Oh God,
Mardi Gras.
It's just one word. Last year it was Carpe Omnia. If memories are better,
hotel next door.
Exactly. If memories could probably be better than mine to call back to what 2022 and 2021 were, but 2024 is just one word. Rooted.
Rooted?
Rooted.
R-O-O-T-E-D.
Rooted.
Like a plant?
Yep.
Like you're rooted to the ground.
Like you're rooted to the ground.
Rooted.
Exactly.
Okay. Right. Feet on the ground. Stay humble.
I like to fight better.
Stop. We had enough of fighting. That ran for years. Let's get away from that.
Finish this fight.
Right.
We never did finish the fight. We're still fighting.
We're trying to finish that fight so many years.
Yeah.
That's not an easy word. I don't like it.
I think there's multiple interpretations.
I like the concept, but rooted, I like a word that you can just comes out of your mouth easily. You know?
You're saying just the word itself, not necessarily the meaning.
Like come up with a different word that has a similar meaning. You know what I mean?
But I like the concept. You know what I like the concept of?
I told you,
and this is where I think the concept works.
What's the mural gonna be? A tree with roots?
Yeah,
remember the mural that they do over there?
I was just thinking about that too.
But I mean, like, be where your feet are. Be planted where your feet are. And I think on a team like this, where they got so many outside distractions, they got people in the last years of their deals and all this kind of stuff going on. I think that's a good message of, hey, be right where you are. We are in 2024. Let's not worry about 25, 26. Let's be right where our feet are. So I see
like
the message.
Concept.
I see the
I don't
message.
like the word, but I like the concept.
I see the message.
End of the year, you hope you're not uprooted.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope.
Bang.
All right, that's a wrap. We appreciate you guys joining us. Actually, real quick, we got a couple minutes. I'm gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna go around and say I want to start this
Couple
this
of
year.
minutes, it's over.
I know.
Lunchtime.
I want to start.
Come on,
I know.
we
I want
got-
to start this every Wednesday and Thursday. I want to go around the table and I want you guys to tell me advantage Cowboys or advantage their opponent on the position or the groups that we're talking about. So we talked about Cleveland defense, Cleveland offense versus Dallas defense. Advantage whom? Let's start with you, Nick.
You said Cleveland offense versus Cowboys defense.
Yep, advantage.
I'm gonna go Cowboys defense here. I love the experience that they've added over the offseason. I think adding those two guys in the middle and Jordan Phillips and Linval Joseph, while they are not starters, these guys are going to add so much to the interior of that defensive line. The linebackers are improved. I think it's a top 5 unit in the league. I think it's going to be proven as early as week 1. The secondary, I have questions. Absolutely. Not having a healthy Deron Bland, getting Trayvon Diggs back from injury in his first game back. They are going to test those guys, and as they should. But I like the Cowboys defense here. Like I said yesterday, this is going to be a rock fight of a game. First team to 17 wins. So I like the defense.
Amber.
Cowboys defense as well. I think I can see the line just creating a lot of pressure and keeping their quarterback just kind of mumbling all over the field. So I think that the defense has the possibility to get at least one turnover. It's going to be a challenge for sure with the receivers and the guys that we have in the secondary. But overall, I think it'll be a good battle, but with the Cowboys defense kind of playing and staying up to task.
Cowboys win at the biggest position. That's at quarterback. And I'm saying that because they're going to attack Watson in this game. They're going to make Watson try and win this game.
3 sacks.
That's an advantage for the Cowboys.
Yep. And when you said
doesn't
earlier,
handle pressure very well.
Right.
Dak does. So
and when you said earlier that he's a guy that's not very accurate.
Yeah.
When you talk about a secondary that has cornerbacks who are extremely good at attacking the ball and creating turnovers in that way, I think that's also something to note. I also give advantage to Cowboys defense. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll talk about the Cowboys offense versus the Cleveland defense. Till then, for Nick Harris, Brian Broaddus, and Amber Garcia, I'm Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!